Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Hard Count Football Podcast Live. My name is Jacob Charnow, leading the next generation of football fans live on the Hard Count Football YouTube channel, and of course, right here on 1252 Sports, guys. Listen, football season's over, right? Super Bowl happened. It was a really good game, right? The Rams beat the Bengals 23-20. Stafford gets his first ring. A lot happened. Cooper Kupp wins Super Bowl MVP. And now, right, after we enjoyed that great game, we have this lull between now and I'll say April 1st, where we got nothing, right? There's no real major football news right off the bat. But that doesn't mean that stuff isn't going on just because there's no games. Because unlike a lot of other sports, there's no off season for football. Because now in March, and we have just a few weeks, we have free agency starting. Oh, and then coaches are getting hired. And there's off-season drama on almost every single team. And so I'll be here every single Sunday with you, as always, to talk about everything going on around the league. Because, like I said, there's no offseason in the NFL. Stuff's always going down. And we got some really good guests here today. Really good show planned. Of course, we got Harry the Greek coming in here to talk about everything with me. And then, in just a little bit, around 9:15, we'll have Jake Allenbogen of Downtown Rams coming in to talk everything Rams between that big win in the Super Bowl, break that down a little bit, and then, of course, what the Rams are going to do this offseason, and then some stuff from other teams all around the NFL, because he also knows stuff about everywhere around the NFL. So we'll get him in here in just a little bit. But first, I say we get Harry in here, at least until Jake comes in, and then we'll get Harry back in here after we're done with Jake. So let's get Harry in here right now. Harry, good morning, man. What's going on? How are you?
Good morning. Greetings and salutations from warm and beautiful Florida. I know everybody's wondering, why am I not doing the show from outside? You know why? Because it's a little chilly. It's about 69 out. I didn't want to have to put on that jacket.
Yeah, that big burly winter coat you got for the mid 60s to low 70s.
God, it's gorgeous out, man. It's absolutely gorgeous. Not a cloud in the sky. It's upper 60s. It's going to be about 77 degrees out. It's just absolutely beautiful. Can you believe it? Football season's partially over.
I mean, I guess technically it's done, right? I mean, what do you think about that game on Sunday, Harry? What do you think about the Super Bowl?
God, you're going to put me right on the spot. I think, again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I'd love to hear other people's opinions on stuff. Didn't you find it ironic the guy mixes the point after to make the Bengals cover? Then you have the bad non-call, and I think it was T. Higgins was catching the ball and he grabbed Jalen Ramsey and by the face mask, and that allowed them to go ahead and get a touchdown. And then you had a call that was some phantom pass interference or holding on the linebacker, which I thought was great coverage, by the way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think. I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to make excuses. I gave everybody to bet the Rams -4. They didn't cover. It's still a loss. It's a bad pick, but if you watch the game, come on, man. That game shouldn't have even been close. That's just my own opinion, but I'm not going to make excuses because it sounds like I'm being a bad loser or a sore loser.
Yeah, I mean, I think the actual game itself, if you're looking at it just from a fan perspective, I think it was a pretty fun game to watch, right? I mean, poor Joe Burrow, man, got mauled every play in that second half. I mean, he was sacked one time in the first half and then 6 times in 4 possessions in the second half. And then the Rams losing OBJ was unfortunate and all that and horrible for OBJ. He ended up tearing his ACL. And that sucks because now it's a February ACL tear, and now going into a free agency year and all that. But we'll talk about all that later. Listen, I guess from the betting perspective of it, it's a loss. It's a loss, right? We both give out the Rams -4, but the Rams, my player props, I had T. Higgins over. He went over that. OBJ, I had him going over. That was a loss because, I mean, he needed 62.5, 63.5. He had 52 and then tore his damn ACL. And then the Cam Akers over. Man, let's talk about that. The Rams could not run the football if their life
Nope.
depended on it.
Cincinnati, there's something I got to tell you, man.
Was it
No,
bad
man.
blocking, or was it the interior pressure from the Bengals that we talked about?
I think everybody underestimated the Cincinnati Bengals defense, including myself. I could just tell you what I've seen from, look, teams can get better as the year goes on, and the Bengals definitely did go and did get better, especially defensively. You were correct when you and Mike from Mike on the Mic were talking about they're quietly becoming one of the better defenses in the National Football League that nobody's talking about. And I kept watching it going, I don't see it, I don't see it. Well, I seen it in that game. And everybody's going to say, oh, that was Matthew Stafford, not playing very well. Matthew Stafford's not running the football. Matthew Stafford is not calling the plays. I think Cincinnati did an extraordinary job playing defense in that game. But I'm still going to stand by it. This game shouldn't have been that close.
No, but it was partially, the Bengals did fine blocking for Burrow in the first half, but that's until the Rams defense was like, all right, we kind of need to step this up. And Aaron Donald single-handedly dominated that game along with Von Miller, who honestly, say what you want about Von Miller, man. In the playoffs this year, he was another animal, right? He looked like prime Von Miller.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
He did. And then you have guys like Leonard Floyd. The problem is when you head into the offseason with the Rams, right? They're not going to be able to get all these guys back. To be fair, we said that about Tampa, but they ended up bringing everyone back. It ended up not working for them, but they brought everyone back, all that stuff. They tried to run it back, do all that stuff, whatever, go for two, whatever they wanted to call it.
Look, they won the Super Bowl, Jacob. They sold their soul to the devil. They accomplished what they set out to do. They won the Super Bowl. So anything, playoffs or Super Bowl next year, is just icing on top of the cake. They sold their soul to the devil for the next 5 years to win this one Super Bowl. If they can keep the band together, can they win another one?
We'll see, man. They get Bobby Trees back next year, Robert Woods.
I'm going to tell you why I don't think they will. This team doesn't have that killer mentality that certain teams should have to carry. This Cincinnati team is not nearly as good as the LA Rams. Not nearly as good. And they just didn't put this team away. And I have been making excuses for this Rams team the entire year. You'll wait, you'll see. Just wait and see. Wait till playoff time. There was one player in the playoffs that turned it up a notch in the playoffs. And you just mentioned his name. And it wasn't Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald played his typical game, his super high. I mean, he's the one who was consistent the entire year. But man, there are other outside linebacker / defensive end that you were just talking about. He turned it up. Nobody else. Jalen Ramsey looked like a little bitch, to be honest with you. I mean, he just over pursued everybody. It looked horrible. That's why this team doesn't win 2 in a row. But they did a good job. They won the Super Bowl. They sold their soul to the devil. That's all I'm going to say. That's exactly what you get.
Yeah, man. I think that this is a team that could. I mean, I don't know if I'm just a Stafford homer because I kind of am, but I'm also looking at it. It obviously depends what they do in the offseason, right? Do they bring back OBJ? Do they, what's the deal with Aaron Donald? Will Aaron Donald come back? Will Von Miller come back? Well, it's, there's a lot to process. There's a lot going on. I think if they bring back the crew, I don't see why they couldn't do it again. I really don't. But winning a Super Bowl's hard enough, right? Doing it twice, it's almost, not to say it's impossible because it's happened, but it's incredibly hard. It's a really, really difficult thing to do. So I don't know. Tampa couldn't do it. The Chiefs couldn't do it. If you're looking right now to next year though, as an early favorite, who are you taking? Are you taking the Chiefs? I'm taking I like the Bills right now if I'm looking early next year.
You got to like the Bills, but you got to also like other dark horse teams. You got to look at Tennessee. They may end up getting an Aaron Rodgers or someone like that. You can turn around and look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they improve that defense just about this much and they get a real quarterback, there's always going to be somebody coming out of the weeds, showing something. And that leads me to the next part of this show for you, because I told you I wasn't prepared. This was going to be really organic. And I alluded to being a conspiracy theorist. Look, man, I have never seen this much parity in football. And every year for the past 5 years, it's getting more and more and more prevalent with the parity in the National Football League. And it's not because of the salary cap, that has something to do with it. But the one common denominator that has a lot to do with it is gambling. And that's where I'm going to start raising some eyebrows. If you think that this sport and other sports aren't going to get corrupt, or if it's already started to be corrupt, you're highly mistaken. You'll never change my mind to it, ever. It's it's starting to get pretty bad. I mean, I don't know who. I mean, what stops a referee from coming onto the field and it's third down and goal, and the ref's like, you know, hey, and he's pulling on his ear twice, and he's telling the guy up there during the timeout, hey, they're not going to score. Lay 25 dimes on it. Who's to say that's not going to stop when they have a sports book inside of there? It's. I'm telling you, man. Some of the penalties that I seen in the game, and some of them that I didn't see in the game, that was pretty bad. That was really, really bad.
Yeah, I'm sure that, especially with all these deals that the sports books have with the NFL now and how it's getting legalized almost everywhere, sports betting and all that.
It's almost hypocritical.
Right. But the one thing that I've learned, and I'm sure Harry, you know the same thing from playing sports for, your entire life, you're not going to find a good ref.
No.
All refs are garbage at their job. You get a call towards you, it was a great call. You get a call against you, terrible call. And it goes both ways.
But how do they make that call?
I don't know. Some of the calls in that game.
How do they not make that call? That's the one I want to talk about. Listen, if they were calling penalties throughout the entire game, you could have called that holding.
Right.
Okay? You could have. He swung the hips around. It wasn't egregious. It shouldn't have been called because it was the last 2 minutes of the game and they didn't call penalties. But how do you miss that face mask? So that leads
Yeah.
me to believe with about 5 or 6 other games that it's not point shaving, because then you would think that the team has something involved in it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not trying to be indicting when I say this, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing, and I think the National Football League is extremely hypocritical, especially from a gambling perspective. Because if you remember Roger Goodell, you weren't alive then. It was back in 2002 when the Buccaneers were going to the Super Bowl, and uh, the National Football League rejected offers for their $2 and $3 million commercials to represent and advertise for the city of Las Vegas. And Roger Goodell said, "quote unquote," Jacob, "there's no place in the National Football League with gambling. It's taboo. It's Satan." Okay, and he starts reciting Bible verses. Okay, well, fast forward 15 years later in 2017. Well, there might be a spot for it, because all of a sudden they started showing them the money. And then in 2019, it was like, yep, it's got a place in the National Football League. Absolutely. So what changed? This is what's changed, because the billions of dollars are going to be going through there. And look, I'm a professional gambler, and I'm telling you, there is no place in the National Football League, the Major League Baseball, the NBA, and the NHL to have a sports book in any venue at all. It can do nothing but cause problems. And I dare anybody out there to challenge me on that and tell me how it's going to be a good thing. For who?
Yeah,
The
no, I
owners?
agree with you. I think they're taking something that, you know, eh, and I love it just as much as you do, but you take something that's addictive, like gambling, and you start to make it, when you legalize it, you start to take away the stigma from it, and you start to make it casual. And that's when, the common person in the arena then gets hooked on it, and you start to see that happen, and you start to see when it becomes casual, you know, you're right. You could start to see like situations from the NBA, however many
Yep.
years ago, where
Do you
we're
remember that 5, 6 years ago where the referee had gambling debts?
yep, yep, yep.
Okay. Troy just made a comment. I'm going to go ahead and put it up here. It's actually one of the first ones that he made that was intelligent. He says, Football is not fixed. Vegas does not decide the winners, Harry. Stop crying." I get it. And that's I'm not crying. I didn't say that Vegas puts the fix on the game, but Vegas could be very influential to the people that are controlling the game
Mhm.
or the people that are playing the game. It hasn't gotten to the players, in my opinion, yet, but I think it has. And again, this is my opinion, not the opinion of Jacob Charnow or 1252, the over/under, or anybody else. This is my opinion. I think it has started to affect the referees. It did it before in the NHL. It's already done it in the NBA. What's it going to stop it from happening in Major League Baseball again and in the NFL? It just can't. But that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Let's get through all these comments while we're going.
Sure. Sorry, I was going to bring it up for you. Go ahead. I'll bring them up. You read them.
All right. Zach Wilson was watching the Super Bowl like, man, I'm never going to get there. Yeah, he will. Just watch. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, Jared Goff started crying in his car. I mean, I'm sure it sucks.
You know what? He was with you, Troy. He was with you, crying in his beer.
Let's go Arlington Heights Bears.
Amen, baby. Go on.
Bucks are negotiating a deal with D. Watson. No, they're not. They're not. No one's negotiating anything with anyone yet.
Sure they are. Just
Yeah.
Troy, you're a legend in your own mind. I love you. Good morning, Christopher Cole. Rams have had a horseshoe up their butts for the last few months of the season. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I thought they played really well. I mean, Chris, I know you're a huge Buccaneer fan, but this was the best team in the National Football League this year. They just had a lot of ups and downs, unfortunately. I mean, I got to call it like I see it. And Christopher Cole says, "Good morning, guys."
Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
That comment, and then football. He says football's real. Yeah, no, it's not. We're not saying it's not real. It's not pro wrestling. You know, it's like we don't think it's like there's a story to it. I think what Harry's saying is that, you know, all right. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You go ahead and you go.
No, it's okay. I want to know, because if you're thinking what I'm thinking, I got to hear it, because that's what I think the audience is hearing as well. What do you think I'm actually trying to say?
Yeah, no, I think what he's trying to say is more like, not that it's fixed, not that it's, not that Vegas is writing storylines and handing it to the refs and to Goodell. I think that above all, what a lot of people care about is money, right? Everything is about money when you boil it down to it. And the players play for the love of the game, obviously. The refs, they ref, I'm sure, for the love of the game. Everyone does it because they love football. But, if gambling is getting to the level of, like, we've seen it in other sports, right? We've seen examples of it in other sports. If you see it start to get to the refs and stuff, that's when it's possible that you could start to see a problem there, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to get a little bit deeper for you. Are there any rules in the National Football League that says that someone in management, not the players, but someone in management or the referees' families, couldn't have action on a game? Find out.
I mean, I'm sure there is. I'm sure it's somewhere.
Yeah. But I don't think it says anything about, like, say I'm a referee. Let's say I'm Fred Hockey, with smaller arms. Okay, and my wife loves to gamble. And I just so happen to be refereeing the Bears versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, but my wife likes Pittsburgh, and she bet 25 grand. How is that going to look into the eyes of people if I made a bad call against Chicago and Pittsburgh won the game or they covered?
Right.
Okay, it could still be misleading. So if you're going to create a doubt, don't. And where there's smoke, there's fire. But trust me, there are people. They're humans. What do you think? Just because they're referees that they don't gamble? Really? Just because of the owners or the general managers, they don't like to play fantasy football? There's players currently in all major sports that have a form of gambling, and they like to play fantasy football, or they go ahead and bet games. I know plenty of athletes in 3 major sports, not plenty. I know a couple of athletes in 3 major sports that gamble. I will leave them nameless. So let's not sit here and be naive and think that these people aren't gambling. I just said it could be corrupt, and don't make it easier for them. Everybody's like, well, they got this unit called a telephone and they could just put it in there. Number one, you don't see anybody on a cell phone sitting on the sideline. Do you?
I like glitch. What'd you say?
No, you don't ever see a player or a coach with a cell phone on the sideline, do you?
Oh, no.
Okay, then. Well, don't make it easier for them. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. Let's move into this topic here. I want to talk about this a little bit. So we're heading into the off season, right? We see a lot of off season drama every year, but I think that this year already, right? The Super Bowl, the season just ended 7 days ago, and we're already seeing a ton of off season drama. So let's talk. We're going to go through these trade candidates. We talked about this a couple months ago. A lot of these stories have changed. We're going to talk about it's going to be traded or not to be traded.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
It is. That's the question we're asking today, Harry, about these players.
Okay, go for it.
First off, why not? Aaron Rodgers, right? I know. Whatever. I forget what you want to see. Forget all of that. Forget any biased. Do you think Aaron Rodgers gets traded? If not, why not? And if yes, where is he going?
Great question. I say yes and no. I'm going to say no because I don't think Green Bay really wants to lose him, even though they can't stand him. I think the locker room is still divided. I think the fan base is divided considering the antics and the shenanigans that he has pulled. Okay, he can't even keep a steady relationship with his girlfriend, even have a relationship with his parents. How in the hell is he supposed to be able to carry a relationship with 51 other guys in his locker room? It's just strictly an observation. If the right team comes along, such as Pittsburgh Steelers, the 49ers, let's throw them into the mix. Let's forget about there's speculation that Tom Brady's mysteriously coming out of retirement to go play for the 49ers.
I'll throw
Okay.
Denver in there too for you.
Okay. The Denver Broncos. If there's a particular team that really wants to go after Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay would be absolutely stupid not to pull that trigger. Because let's just face it, you take Aaron Rodgers off this team, and they're not very good at all. But if you can get a couple of first round draft picks and build for your future, now is the time to trade the guy. Okay. Because the odds of him having another stellar season like he had this past year is very minimal, my opinion.
Well, yeah. When you say the thing about, maintaining a relationship with 51 other guys, I don't care how nice Tom Brady was. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't care how nice Tom Brady was, right? To the 51, 52 other players in the locker room.
Where's your keys?
You know what? Harry's here. You know what does it more than anything? You know what maintains a relationship more than anything? Winning. Winning maintains your relationships with these guys, right? If you're winning games for your team, they're going to like you because guys want to win. That's Brady in Tampa immediately making connection because he's Tom Brady. In New England, guys who wanted to go to New England to play? Who would, if you're not playing with Brady, if you're not playing on a winning team, no one wants to go to New England. It's freezing there. It's freezing. It makes no sense. Why would you want to go play there in the toughest system? Because you know you're going to win if you go there with Brady. I don't think Rodgers has that right now. I don't think Rodgers has that factor. During the regular season, everyone kind of forgot about what happened during the last offseason because the Packers were winning. What did they finish the season? 13-3, 12 whatever, 12-5, whatever it was. So if Aaron Rodgers does this again, I think there's a point where the guys in the locker room are saying, great, Rodgers MVP, winning games during the regular season. But as soon as playoff time comes, he can't get it done. Harry, how much of an impact do you think that has in the locker room but with the veteran players versus the younger players who might just want to play with a quarterback like Rodgers?
Wow, that's a great question. That's a great question because, look, Green Bay has always spent a little bit of money on their team. They don't ever bring in big time free agents, and they never really, really, really back the Brinks truck up to pay a player. They just
And
don't.
to be fair, every time they let a player walk,
They stink.
they don't.
That's why I'm not a big believer in Davante Adams. That's just my opinion. I think Davante Adams is a really, really good wide receiver. Is he the best in the National Football League? No, not in my opinion.
I think if you compare Adams to a guy like Jordy Nelson, I don't think they're similar at all. I think Adams is heads above Jordy Nelson ever was.
Oh yeah. I'd say he's much better, but is he as good as Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, I think so. I think in terms of I think if you okay, I hate this narrative, and it's not you bringing it up, Harry. It's everyone who says, We'll let Devontae Adams go play anywhere else. He'll suck.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
he's going to
Well, yeah,
suck,
obviously
but
his game is elevated because he's playing with Aaron Rodgers, who, forget what I said about the playoffs, right? He still he was the MVP the last 2 years. Obviously, if you put him on a team with a worse quarterback, the production is going to sink because that's how life works. I promise you, you put Allen Robinson on a team like the Chiefs, or you put him on a team like the Packers. I don't think he has the season that Devontae Adams did, but I promise you, he's going to do a lot better than he did in Chicago this year, even when he was on the field, right? I don't like it. Just is. It feels ridiculous. Like, yeah, Cooper Kupp is great. Cooper Kupp's a great receiver. People are saying, "Oh, well, he's just a slot guy. He can do it all. Whatever. He's just lines up in the slot. It's easier for him." Have you watched Cooper Kupp play football? That man is a menace. He is so damn good, and he's open not because he lines up in the slot.
because
He's
he
open
runs great routes and he's
receivers
disciplined.
all. He's
Yep.
wide. You can triple team the guy. He's wide open every single time. And Matthew Stafford, he's good, but he doesn't throw like an Aaron Rodgers pinpoint football.
No.
Cooper Kupp gets to that ball. He does. And so this thing about Devontae Adams, it seems ridiculous to me. I think he will go somewhere with a quarterback. I think even if it's Las Vegas, I think that he will stand out. I think I think Derek Carr's a good quarterback. I think he changed my mind this year. Yeah, he agrees.
He's
Zipper
agreeing. Zipper. That's right. Zipper.
agrees. I think Carr's a great quarterback. He changed my mind this year, but that's whatever. Devontae Adams, no matter where he goes, unless it's a team like the Lions, unless it's a team, you know what? I'll throw in the Jets. I'll throw in the Bears. Teams that don't have a stable quarterback or stable quarterback play, the Ravens, whatever. Yeah, then he'll start to see a decline. But I think he will maintain, even if it's not here, Harry, and all the receivers are here. I think the most decline you'll see from Devontae Adams is maybe to here. You know?
Who's your next bill of thought there?
Uh,
Because we went right to Devontae Adams when we were talking about Aaron Rodgers. Do I think he's going to stay in Green Bay? Probably not. I think the right team's going to make a play for them, and I think there's a lot of damage that has happened. Plus, this team didn't go to the Super Bowl, so I think they're done with that again.
who like is gonna make that trade? And what are the Packers gonna do from there? Welcome to Cincinnati, Ryan Jensen. Honestly, that would be a great signing for them. The Bucks don't need Godwin. Kenny Bell is the next star wide receiver. Yeah, you're out of your mind. Godwin. And then he says, my condolences to any player going to the Jets. You're a clown, man. He thinks the Jet. You know what? I'll let him talk. We'll let him talk. Keep that energy. What we'll say.
Hang on, wait a minute. I got to put this up.
Agreed. There you go. All right.
That felt good.
Sure. All right. We'll move on. DK Metcalf. What are you thinking?
I think he has the talent to be even. I think DK Metcalf. I could put him in the same category with the White offensive scheme game plan as a Randy Moss. That's how good I think DK Metcalf can be. Yeah, buddy.
I don't know, Harry.
Oh,
And I love DK, man. I think DK is great. I think
would you not make him the best wide receiver that the Jets?
No, I would.
Okay.
I would take him. That's what I was going to say. I would say obviously I'd take DK Metcalf for the Jets. Do I think he could be Randy Moss? No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy. Length, hands, speed, catching. Oh my God, the guy is a beast.
Yeah.
Can't cover. Cannot cover the guy. Can't happen.
But he's got Russell Wilson throwing him the ball already.
I know.
What more do you need?
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, an offensive game mind. Not that not some bumbling 70-year-old idiot who's been calling the same. Okay, who's been calling the same plays on third down every single time, looking for Tyler Lockett on third down. I mean, you want to talk about predictability? Even my cat Zipper is saying Tyler Lockett always gets the ball on third down, and it's not because he's a better wide receiver. It's because the coverage rolls over to DK, and it's leaving Tyler one-on-one. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not. I don't think it's Pete Carroll's fault. I think that they've had such dysfunction in that OC room between Schottenheimer and all those, and then whoever came in this year and all that. Because Pete Carroll's not an offensive guy. He's not. And for a not offensive guy, their defense blows.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so I think that this is not. I think the Seahawks' downfall this year was not Russell Wilson. It wasn't this offense. It was that this defense, they couldn't stop anyone. They couldn't stop me and you, Harry, if we went out there, just me and you, in pads and tried to run an offense.
Well, it depends who's playing quarterback. I'm a little taller.
I'll play quarterback.
Okay, well, then I have to play wide receiver, my
Well,
natural
that's
position.
your
They ain't stopping us,
position,
bro.
man.
That's it.
That's your natural.
Especially if Mike on the mic is playing safety.
Yeah. I would love to see that. We'll get that going. We'll get that moving. You can play receiver against. We'll go 1-on-1s. I'll throw.
I'll be like, get out of the way, kid. 6.
Yeah. I think DK doesn't get moved this offseason. I don't think he'll get traded. I think they'll keep him for another. The problem is then you got to pay him, and they should. But with no Russell Wilson, if Russell Wilson leaves, I think DK leaves.
I think so too. This is funny.
The Munachi Giants.
Oh God.
Yeah. No, the Jets are the team of the tri-state area.
That's right. Hey, I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Tom Brady. Is he
No.
staying retired?
Yeah, he's done. Sorry.
Okay, good. Okay. End the narrative, end the conversation, end all the speculation.
Why would he want? Okay, to be fair, we've talked about this before. It's Brady, and obviously people want to talk about Tom Brady coming back because he's Tom Brady, because he's Superman, whatever you want to say. The only thing that like straight up is that when players say they want to spend more time with their family, you start seeing them having that talk of like, all right, maybe I'll come back. See it within 1 or 2 years. So if Brady's out, okay, here's the thing: if Brady's out of the league 1 year, done. Then it's official. He's not coming back, right?
How can he?
You can't, because you lose that football shape. He's done. I just think I think he's at a point in life where he's like, listen, I'm 45. I've been playing football for 25 years at this point, my whole life more. I've been playing in the NFL for 25 years, 2 decades, 2.5 decades. I gotta, he's gonna snap at some point. He wants to enjoy his life. Let the man eat a strawberry. Let him do something. Let him eat whatever. Let him eat more than 1,000 calories a day. I think he's done, Harry. I think this is it for him.
I have to agree. All right, let's talk about some no-name players. Matt Ryan stays or goes?
He'll stay. There's no way they move him this year. You can't. You look at the money. It just doesn't work.
Okay.
Doesn't mean they won't draft a quarterback though.
Mitchell Trubisky, other than the Giants, where does he go?
Why? The Giants are my. You had.
Other than the Giants, where does
you had to say?
Do 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 do. Washington, Carolina, New Orleans.
Carolina.
Which brings, okay, all right. Carolina, other than the Giants. Okay, Jameis, the 30-30 man, Winston.
Back to New Orleans.
He stays in New Orleans.
He should. The team was 6-1 when they had 6-2 when they had him playing.
Okay,
they were a good football team when Jameis Winston was playing quarterback.
Are they going to give him a deal to make him stay for a multi-year deal? Because he already did the 1-year deal.
Why not?
And hold on, they haven't backed the truck up to keep him. That's why I say he moves on from New Orleans. Otherwise, they were already committed to him.
Where's he going to go? Tampa, Harry?
Should. He should.
I don't know. I think he should too. But I think the Bucks, right? Apparently Deshaun Watson. No way. The Bucks don't have the picks to do it. They don't have the capital.
Hang on. That's funny. Whatever team lands Deshaun Watson needs to have their head examined. Great talent. But how long is this poor bastard going to be suspended for?
No, I think this apparently his
Oh,
case should be settled by next week or something or sometime soon, right? Um, so I think whenever that's settled, I think I miss watching Deshaun Watson. It's obviously he's a piece of whatever if that's if all that stuff happened, but
say
man,
hi.
in terms of talent, I missed watching him play. He's so damn good.
You do realize this is like not scripted. They just like
Yeah.
they just
Trust me. How can you script a cat? How,
and that was Turbo. That's not Zipper. That was Turbo.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But where are you thinking for Trubisky, by the way?
Bisky.
Yeah.
I got him landing.
I like Washington or Carolina. I think those were the two that I was.
I like the NFC South and Carolina. I like Washington. I love your Giants move, but I'm going to give you the dark horse team that he goes to.
The Indianapolis Colts.
Nope.
Maybe.
That could be Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I thought about it. I don't like it.
Pittsburgh. Hang on. Christopher Cole has a comment here. I think that's pretty comical. I love it.
Played football with my nephews yesterday. I was the blitzing linebacker and was their timer for the QB to get rid of the ball. I had 3 sacks.
Hi, Turbo. Troy Polamalu says
Brady.
Brady quit. Breeze is gone. Panthers suck. Falcons divisional champs, baby. Let me tell you something. That's not a far fetched statement. That could happen.
No. If anything, the Saints bring it. I think they bring it home again. The
The
NFL is
Go ahead.
D Watson like they did to Gruden. Oh my God. Get this.
Free Watson. Really? Come on, Turbo. Can you? No, that's Inkers. Sorry, that's a different cat now.
It's a dumb comment.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Watson. I don't know who would even get him at this point, unless. Listen, I'm gonna throw something ridiculous out there. Okay, the Packers get 2 or 3 first rounders for Aaron Rodgers.
And then they go after Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. How would that make you feel, Harry?
Oh, just
As a
warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We're gonna own Green Bay this year anyway, man. I'm telling you, man. I love the new hiring coach. We're gonna have a great defense. Justin Fields is gonna be in year 2. We're gonna have another star wide receiver. You got David Montgomery as a running back.
Uh-huh.
That's bad. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. We've been talking about players. How about Brian Flores getting a nice gig back in the National Football League?
With the Steelers. Good for the Steelers for hiring him. Good for him for landing a job. He's forget whatever. He's a great coach. He is a great coach.
Should be a head coach in the National Football League.
Yeah, obviously, but
But at least he got his job back in there. So I don't know, man. I just he took a step down.
Sure.
But he wanted to come back. So you see, it's not always about the money; it's the love of the game.
Yeah,
I think he is showing that, and that says a lot about his character. Look for him to be a head coach in the next couple of years again.
all right, Russell Wilson. What do you think, man?
He's gone.
He's think?
He's not staying in Seattle. He's your next he's your next quarterback in Denver.
Okay, so Denver, Philadelphia.
He's not going to Philly. They're not losing hope. And let me tell you something. Jalen Hurts is the real deal.
I like Hurts, but I also like Russell Wilson more. So you're not going to win with a mediocre. You're not going to win with an I like him quarterback. You're going to win. You have to win with a wow quarterback, and I think that's the only way the Eagles do it. I don't think they're going to do it with Fields, but whatever. With Hurts, sorry. Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon is still a great running back. I think that if you put him in a place, let's say Miami, let's say San Francisco. God, could you imagine if the Niners? I know they have Elijah Mitchell, who was great this year.
With that blocking screen with a Saquon Barkley, year 2 coming off his ACL, yeah, the Giants are going to regret getting rid of him. I still think he's the premier running back in the National Football League. I think they ran him back too quick.
I think Saquon's good, but even the thing with Saquon is that you see even when he's getting blocking, he doesn't really find he didn't really find those holes last year that he
Nope.
was doing. He wasn't
No,
bouncing
I
left
think
side
he
like
came
he
back
did.
too quickly. I think he was still timid on that knee. And not
Like,
everybody's an Adrian Peterson.
no, you don't get. There's few and far between there. I don't. Man, I'm trying to think where Saquon would even go. What team would want him, right?
What team wouldn't want him?
But what team would be able to use him to his top?
A
Uh,
team that throws the ball out of the backfield too, because he's got hands. He can
well,
run, he can catch, he can do it all.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, the Falcons, not really. They suck. Man,
How about Cordero Patterson? What kind of paycheck is he gonna be
that's a
getting
weird.
this year?
That's a weird paycheck that you're gonna have to give that guy because you don't know, right? Because he was great this year. He
He's
kind
a
of
Swiss Army knife, baby. He started turning it on when he was in Chicago. He exploded when he went to Atlanta. I mean, because that guy is the true definition of a Swiss Army knife. He plays. He's Debo Samuel, baby.
him and Debo are great. I'm still on the Saquon thing, man. I'm trying to think of a great team for him to go to.
Miami.
Yeah, I said I like Miami. Buffalo. There it is. That was my. Oh my god. Oh boy. Can you imagine if they got Saquon? They really start to commit to that run.
I don't think they'll ever commit to the running game. That's not the type of offense that they run. They run a lot of five-man technique on the offensive line. They do not like to run the football.
Yeah. I guess. Finally, Kyler Murray. All this weird stuff that's been going on. So Kyler Murray deletes all of his Instagram pictures that involve the Cardinals.
Oh,
And
God.
then, in a petty move of revenge, I guess, the Cardinals delete all of their Instagram posts except for two about Kyler Murray.
What were the two that they didn't delete? I'm kind of curious about that.
One of them was him in the Pro Bowl. And then I forgot the other one. But okay. But then Kyler Murray releases a statement that says, like, I'm not about all this drama. What?
He's the one who started the drama.
Yeah. What do you mean you're not about all this drama?
Look, I'm not a Kyler Murray fan.
So now Kyler Murray's in the trade conversation, whatever, with the Cardinals. If the Cardinals trade him, Cliff Kingsbury will lose his job within 3 years, within 2 years. I'm convinced of that. I think Kyler's a much better quarterback. I think Kyler's a really good, not much better than whatever, but I think Kyler is a great quarterback. I do. I just
All right, I love
same
this
thing.
comment. Kyler Murray is not tall enough to go to Busch Gardens.
He's a short
For
guy.
for those of you that don't know what Busch Gardens is, that's an amusement park here in Tampa, and he's a short guy. He can't get on the roller coasters.
Well, Harry, now, do you think what do you think happens with Kyler? Do you think Kyler first is that premier quarterback that people make him out to be?
No,
Or
so
do you
that's why
think-
I'm not giving it. That's why I'm not giving it that much thought. He's so far behind the times; it's not even funny. I think Russell Wilson's ahead of him, like light years, and he's like an old man compared to Kyler Murray. Uh, Kyler Murray's too short, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. He's an exciting football player, but yeah, I'm not enamored with him. And there was a lot of speculation down here in the Tampa area. He's coming to Tampa, and everybody's waving their arms, going, "Yay, we're going back to the Super Bowl." Yeah, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. Is what it is with Kyler, I guess. We'll see. So many quarterbacks moving, right?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Do you think the Rams end up re-signing OBJ off this ACL injury?
I do. I think he had a significant impact on
Like,
what that
like
team did,
yeah,
especially the
get Robert,
second half. Huh?
but they're getting Robert Woods back.
Yeah, so you get Robert Woods and you get a little discounted deal, especially with another ACL with OBJ. Man, that would be almost unstoppable. So who did they get rid of? You got Cooper Cup, Robert Woods, and OBJ.
Well, to be fair, they probably won't get OBJ back.
And you have Jefferson. Oh, come on, stop. They can't possibly keep all those wide receivers.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they're going to get OBJ back from that ACL injury until the second half of next season.
You know what? They don't re-sign him. I think you're right. Robert Woods, they got, they leased him this year to get him to a Super Bowl. No, he doesn't come back. I changed my mind. He's not back with them.
Yeah, it's just gonna be tough for OBJ. It sucks. He was so good. He was really so good this year. I think he was a wide receiver. I think he would have gone on to be a wide receiver one on another team once he was fully recovered. I think he still has that talent. I don't know if now with this re-aggravated injury, I don't know how that's going to change it. You don't know how he's going to come back. It's such an unpredictable injury. Because like we said, there's not many Adrian Petersons in the league.
No, I've never seen one like that. The two
Uh,
best healers I've ever seen was Bo Jackson and Adrian Peterson. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Ever. Ever.
yep.
Never. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Yep. All right. As a Bears fan, Harry, the Vikings hired former Rams offense coordinator Kevin O'Connell.
Okay.
First of all, from what you've seen with this Rams offense this season, what do you think the Vikings are getting with O'Connell? And do you think this is a good hire for the Vikings?
I think it's an extraordinary hire for the Vikings, especially with having arguably one of the best running backs in the National Football League, behind that line. Uh, I don't everything is going to go through their running game on this team. I think it's going to be a little bit different than what they did in the Rams. It just depends on who they're going to have under center. They're going to keep Kirk Cousins because I honestly think, and I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan. Let me be the first one to put it out there, but he's going to fit this system very well.
I'll say I am a Kirk Cousins fan. I think Kirk Cousins was massively underrated this season, and I think that he does
He
fit
sucks.
well.
He's going to fit this particular coaching scheme very well, but he sucks.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that, Harry. All right, Harry. We're gonna wrap this thing up. So why don't you go ahead, tell everyone where they can find you, man.
You can find me at my house. I'm kidding. You can find me Friday nights right here on 1252 Sports and on the Sports Web. Friday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, on a show called The Over Under. I'm your host, Harry the Greek. And on Monday and Wednesday nights, you can find me on the Sports Web with Peter Blake, talking about everything. And coming up in the off season, we're gonna give gambling lines on baseball, a little bit of NBA, and I can't wait till March Madness happens. I've got all my peeps out there giving me some good picks, especially in March Madness.
Yeah, March Madness is going to be a ton of fun. I'm really looking forward to that, Harry. But listen, I appreciate you joining me. I will see you next Sunday. Really, I'll talk to you then, man. Peace.
All right, my brother.
Adios. All right, guys. I want to talk about this before we wrap it up. I want to talk about some of these narratives I'm hearing around the draft this year. A few of these players that I really like. Kayvon Thibodeau. This is the main one I want to talk about. Defensive end out of Oregon. For some reason, I'm hearing people crown him as the best player in this draft. I'm hearing people crown him as, top D end in years, as he should be the number one pick, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also then hearing people saying how, oh, he's not good. His explosiveness is a problem, blah, blah, blah. It's Kayvon Thibodeau. I'll say this. I'm at a healthy middle ground with Kayvon Thibodeau. And you should be too. Because he is explosive. He is explosive off the line. He gets to the passer. He stops the run as a D end, which is very important. He's good. Just because the only knock I have on him is those injuries, right? I've heard the Jadeveon Clowney comparison a million times. It's hard to say he's Jadeveon, right? The only similarities I see with Clowney from college are the injury problems. Clowney had a quick rise to the top. Kayvon's has been this guy for the last 3 years. Every year since he's been a starter in college, he's been a name. This guy's going to be a top pick. I'm going to start doing some mock drafts. I am. I'm going to start. You guys are going to see the mock drafts coming real soon. I promise. You'll see my first mock draft. But and you'll see where I see him going. But man, I've seen these mocks where he's falling out of the top 6, 7. Guys, just because he has a few injury problems doesn't mean he's not a premier player in this draft, right? He's better than Jermaine Johnson. And I love Jermaine Johnson. I think he's better than David Ojabo or Yabo, whatever. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. The only guy that he's not better than, I think, in terms of ends is Aiden Hutchinson, who could be the number 1 pick. So stop knocking on Kayvon Thibodeau. Stop it. He's a good player. It's hard to, you can't predict, oh, well, in 6 years, he's going to be broken and his knees are going to be done and blah, 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 blah. You can't predict that. You can't predict injuries. What do you, like, okay, we have seen guys who have had injuries through all of college come into the league and be premier players for 6, 7, 8 years. Sure, we've seen guys with the injury problems in college who have come back and it's come back to haunt them in the NFL. But are you going to skip out on a premier talent like Thibodeau if you're in the top 5 or top 6 and you just need talent? Because if you're picking the top 5, you need talent. You're going to skip out on a guy like that because he had an injury in college? Come on. Same thing I'm seeing with Derek Stingley, man. Derek Stingley, he's great. Same situation, man. He's great. I don't know. I'll talk about a few guys I do love before I give my mocks in a few weeks. 3 names I love, and this is not out of all the play. This is guys that might fall to the middle, they might get picked higher than a lot of people think. Number 1, I mean, we've seen this guy. He's shot up to the top of draft boards. Ike Ekwonu, the tackle out of NC State, might be the best in the draft. Him or Evan Neal, man, they're both studs. Treylon Burks, wide receiver out of Arkansas, does it all. Man, I've seen him. He is a great player. He's going to be really, really solid if he lands on the right team. And then Nakobe Dean, man, the linebacker out of Georgia, he reminds me of, a Roquan Smith. He really does remind me of a Roquan Smith. He is so good. So yeah. So those are 3 names that you should really look out for. And Malik Willis. Teams, especially the Steelers, love Malik Willis. I think he is a first-round talent. I think the Steelers are not the only team that like Willis. I think Willis, Desmond Ridder, and Kenny Pickett might all go in the first round this year. We'll see. I don't know. We have to see how this offseason plays out. It's hard to do a lot of mock drafts before the offseason, but I like doing one right now. I like doing them right around now because you know what? It's fun. And the point of the 1.0, the 2.0, the 3.0 is as stuff progresses in time, post-free agency, pre-free agency, stuff like that. But anyway, we're going to wrap this thing up, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. Special thanks to Harry the Greek for coming on today, talking about all that. My name is Jacob Charnow. Go follow me on Twitter at Jacob Charnow, Instagram at Hard Count Football, guys. Subscribe to Hard Count Football. Check out all the other shows from 1252 Sports. There's a lot going on. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for this offseason, guys. I'll see you all next Sunday morning.